Yo, YouTube, what's going on? Here we have a part 2 to Alvini Linguine's basketball YouTubers and their NBA comparisons. As you know, we already reacted to part 1, where he said that Jessa was a guard version of Brook Lopez. Be sure to check out that video. And right now, let's get started, man. Let's not waste time with it.
Well, apparently the subject about talking about YouTubers' basketball skills is a trend at the moment, and because of that, everybody wants me to make a part 2. Well, thank you for all of these great recommendations on who you want me to add to this part 2 of this video, but just give me 500 likes and I'll make a part 3. But that does mean you have to add more recommendations in the comment section, so I'll be looking out for that. But anyways, what's up guys? It's your boy, Alvini Linguine, here to give you another banger to make your time stuck in your house more enjoyable. Today's subject is on former YouTuber basketball players' NBA comparisons. Some of y'all want me to add more people, but please understand, I make my analysis very in-depth in not just 2 sentences. So hopefully y'all will just support this video to get another part of the series. Also, I hope to be putting the top 10 basketball YouTubers video myself, but that means I gotta blow up with just a little bit more. So yeah, like this video so I can someday be all these people that I talk about or these people on these lists. But let's go on and start, shall we? You already know who it is. Roll it!
He incurred an injury dealing with weights in the weight room, so he's stitched up in the left hand doing all this.
It's over! It's over, ladies and gentlemen!
Okay, before we start with our first YouTuber, let me explain how I do these comparisons and scouting reports. I don't like to consider 1v1s in this case because of how people play 1v1s are totally different than how they would play in a 5v5 game. Someone can be a beast in a 1v1, but can only be a shooter in a 5v5. You gotta consider how NBA scouts actually do their scouting reports for college players. It's basically like that. You don't see 1v1s in college and then like, oh yeah, this guy plays like Kemba Walker in a 1v1, but plays like in...
I agree with that criteria. You gotta analyze people from a team setting because basketball is a team sport. It only makes it fair. It only makes it fair.
Reggie Jackson in a 5v5, you know what I mean? It's kind of like that. Things translate differently when you're playing in actual games, was basically what I'm trying to say. Which is why this video that's been blowing up is kind of fundamentally broken, but hey, we're not going to consider that one. This is my video. This is my video. Also, yes, we may disagree on how we see a player, but just be mature about things and just give me your opinion in the comments. Don't be cancerous, okay? That's all I'm asking for. But let's start with a YouTuber who was requested a lot in my first video, Mr. Zach TTG, the traveling gamer. Zach's game as a guard can be described as cool, collective, nothing too extreme or showy.
Zach doesn't do too little, nor does he do too much. He just do enough. He does just enough. I was struggling with that sentence, but he does just enough for his to put his team into a position to win, which I like. He's decent on defense, decent on offense. He's a good all-around two-way guard.
That's what he has to do to win games as a guard. Simple as that. He's also one of the few players in the community with former college basketball experience, and you can tell just by his immense basketball IQ and all the decisions that he makes on the court. You rarely ever see him commit a turnover. Zach may also be under 6 feet or just barely. I don't know. I can't tell. I never stood foot by the man before. But the man knows how to use his athleticism to get to the basket, even though he might be on the shorter side of an NBA guard. He also comes equipped with a nice jumper from 3, and even though he isn't completely locked down on defense, he gives effort, and it shows, and sometimes that's all it takes to be a good defender nowadays. And one more little thing I noticed is that he uses his size because he's not exactly the smallest person on the court against smaller opponents. Due to all these factors, I'll say his NBA comparison is Kyle Lowry.
I agree with this comparison. He's on the stocky side. He's not too tall, not too skinny. He's good on both ends of the floor. Hit a jump shot here and there. Puts his teammates in the right places. I'd agree with this assessment. He's a Kyle Lowry type. He has a Kyle Lowry archetype too.
Oh wait, wrong picture. This Kyle Lowry. This comparison is for the same reason. Kyle and Zach play at such a high level, but because they don't have anything flashy or anything signature or particularly special about their games, they tend to get put in the who cares or he's not all that good category. But they both get the job done at a high level nonetheless. Both of them have pretty complete games in general with no glaring weaknesses and superb basketball IQ. Next, let's talk about a newcomer who has been rising through the ranks in these last few years, AJ Lepre. AJ Lepre and somebody else I will talk about later has a complete 4 years of basketball experience on the collegiate level. AJ Lepre is the first we'll talk about. Now again, disclaimer.
Come on, YouTube. What is this? What is this?
Experience on the collegiate level. AJ Lepre is the first we'll talk about. Now again, disclaimer.
Come on. Just not today, please.
AJ Lepre is the first we'll talk about. Complete 4 years of basketball experience on the collegiate level. AJ Lepre is the first we'll talk about. Now again, disclaimer. I am not totally basing his comparisons for 1v. Now again, disclaimer. I am not AJ Lepre is the first.
Hold on, y'all. Hold on. You might experience some technical difficulties. Slow the quality down some.
We'll talk about. Now again, disclaimer. I am not totally basing his comparisons for 1v1s or even his stuff when he's doing things by himself. So let's get started. There is one word that can describe AJ, and that is shooter. You seriously cannot leave this man open. Now, he isn't a shooter to the point where he is super one-dimensional in his game, but at the same time, he does not do much more offensively, aside from the occasional drive in. He has above average athleticism at the height of 6'5", but in games or even in his videos, he rarely uses it. Now, let me also say I am totally aware of his...
I don't think AJ Lepre is that even tall. He's not 6'9", he's around like 6'6", 6'5", 6'9". But yeah, AJ Lepre is a great shooter. He reminds me of Tyler Hero, the way he can shoot the ball and could mix in some of that drive in, that good finishing in around the rim. So he reminds me of Tyler Hero.
His injury history, so it might be because he isn't trying to do all of that to preserve his body when he plays against, YMCA All-Stars in the streets or just regular old people. Me, on the other hand, I don't care if you're in the YMCA Hall of Fame or you're a middle schooler. Get out of the way or you're getting dunked on. Simple as that. But back to Mr. Lepre, he has athleticism that doesn't use all the time, even though, granted, not everyone's goal is to dunk on people, so it's not a demerit, it's just a note to put down. His handles are average low-key, but again, it's not a demerit, just a note. And did I mention he shoots like no other? There is a reason he made it to D1. Now, because of all these factors, it's going to be hard to make a concrete comparison, and this one will be for my die-hard NBA fans that know about lesser-known players. But I believe AJ Lepre's comparison is Kevin Huerter with a little less bounce. Now, I already know that
Now, I do watch the NBA, but I haven't been keeping a close eye on Kevin Huerter. I've been hearing that he's pretty good. Let's hear his assessment on him being compared to Kevin Huerter, because I haven't seen Kevin Huerter play at all. So I can't really agree or disagree. I'm just neutral on this one.
Little Timmy that's stuck in Troy Dan's basement is about to spam my comments section talking about, what do you mean? This guy said he's like Larry Bird. How about no? Just give me a second to explain. AJ's shot is totally clean. You can even say that it's NBA material low-key. But again, you have to consider his athleticism that he will use from time to time. There is not a lot of shooters in the NBA that shoot and also use their athleticism at the same time. Kevin may have a few inches on him, but I can almost guarantee if AJ was 2 inches taller, he'd be doing the same exact stuff Kevin Huerter is doing right now. Nice smooth stroke, no homo. Decent athleticism that they both use, average at everything else, sounds good to me. Next, let's talk about what some would call the GOAT of basketball in this community. LSK, Christopher with a K, London. This one I had the most fun researching, and yes, I have no life because I'm over here making NBA level scouting videos on YouTubers. Shut up. But anyways, Christopher is known to be one of the best in the community, and it's for a very good reason. He is a skinny but fairly toned 6'10", with great athleticism, decent handles for a guy his height, and a nice limitless range shot that he uses often. So basically, unless you know what you're doing, guarding him seems kind of impossible. However, let's talk a few things that I've noticed. So after watching a good bit of 5v5 LSK footage, it seems that he doesn't like to go into post a lot. But just hear me out. Even if I had a great jumper, the people he goes against will always be smaller than him. But what I noticed is that he always hangs around the perimeter, which is cool, but if I was 6'10 and was still able to shoot, but I was going against people who was significantly smaller than me, I would kill them in the post anyway. Not a jab at LSK, just a note towards who I'll be comparing.
The reason why he doesn't go in the post, I think it has to do with his head pain. Because he talked about him having concussion problems, and it was all due to him always going to the post all the time. And him not going to the post all the time could be because of that concussion pain. Maybe that's why he doesn't go to the post that often.
Him to later. But to keep things going, he has a great ability of blocking shots. Yes, that's a skill, and is defensively versatile as he can guard guards at the perimeter, because he uses his long wingspan. Now, even though he does hang on the perimeter, I do like how he does hustle for offensive rebounds after missed shots. But for his comparison, and unfortunately, I think a lot of people already know what it is. Kristaps Porzingis.
Couldn't agree more, man. I couldn't agree more. He has that Kristaps physique, Kristaps play style. Everything he does is similar to Kristaps archetype, so I have to agree with this one, brother.
Now, of course, most of you can already imagine it's the unicorn. Now, Kristaps may be over 7 feet, but take it for the fact that LSK does not have, small forward-level handles NBA-wise, he would be moved to the 4 or to be a stretch 5. All of my similarities come together, but just one thing I wanted to mention again. For being 7'3", Kristaps does not like to bang in the post, and even against smaller people, he will still pass it out or try to do a very weak move in general. LSK doesn't do that specifically, at least what I've seen, but it's just a comparison to how they both prefer to be on the perimeter rather than the paint. Lastly, a very underrated basketball YouTuber on the platform, Mr. Devontae FRIGA. See, what people don't realize, there are many basketball YouTubers out there you just don't know about. But Devontae is what I like to think to be one of the best. But let's get to his scouting report. Devontae is a very genuine bucket getter, 100%. You can get it from 3, mid-range, driving in, he'll dunk on you, doesn't matter. If he wants to score, he will. This point is proven even more when you look at his current stats on his school site. He plays D3 if you didn't know. He averages 15 off the bench. You heard me right. Off the bench. If this was NBA stats, that's 6 Man of the Year type numbers. With shooting splits of
15 points off the bench? He's a hot starter, man. He's a go-getter. I can admire that.
47% from the field, 39 from 3, and 80 from the free throw line. Nigga, if you won't get your free throw stats up. But anyway, that's a player who knows his game and only takes good shots, is what I'm trying to say. But for the specifics from what I've seen, he is an above-average dribbler, a dog on defense, and uses athleticism to his advantage in every situation he can on the court. But you want to know something that I also noticed? He is a guard that accepts contact, and I mean really hard contact. If you notice nowadays, a lot of ballers try to avoid contact when going to the rim, but Devontae, even though he doesn't specifically live above the rim, he will still come at you with everything his 6'2" self can muster to make sure that ball gets into that basket. If you watch his videos of his games, then you know that firsthand. During my research, I even thought to myself and said, why does he play like a football player? If you know the football player that plays basketball stereotype, then you understand where I'm coming from. Otherwise, what's wrong with you? With all these things considered, my comparison of Devontae FRIGA is Terrence Davis. Now, I know most of y'all will be like, well, who's Terrence Davis? Let me educate you, my friend. Terrence Davis is a bench shooting guard for the Toronto Raptors that plays basketball as physically as possible, just like Devontae. Just like Devontae, he's a great off-ball shooter, 3-level scorer, and will give you 110% at the defensive end.
Terrence Davis, I haven't seen him play either, man. I gotta be neutral on this one. I'm not even gonna hold you. I gotta be neutral.
Lock you up. Now, they both aren't the best dribblers in the world, but they both will create space with their bodies when driving in against smaller and even bigger defenders. They both radiate Black Air Force One type of energy, and the worst
Black Air Force One type energy. I like that.
part about this, Devontae actually owns a pair of Black Air Forces. So the basketball world is screwed. Now, this is the most accurate depiction of Devontae I can come up with, but it'll be safe to ask, what do you think about my YouTuber basketball NBA comparisons?
I think you put a lot of thought into this. You've obviously planned ahead. You made sure you've done your research. You provided great analysis on this video. You did pretty well, my friend.
Now look, I know I sound like a sophomore in high school and look like a child, but believe me, with all of the years I have played basketball and playing on the collegiate level at D2 for a little bit, I have a good bit of knowledge about the game. But you are free to argue your point about who do you think someone's NBA comparison is. Just know I answer most of my comments, so I will answer back. As I keep gaining subs, I wish to one of these days to play all these people and put my place as the second best basketball YouTuber. I am certainly confident I can beat most of these guys. You know, everybody has faith in themselves, but again, Devontae will probably kill me just based on his physicality.
I mean, you always got to go into a game with confidence, my brother. You always got to believe you're going to be the winner. You just got to show it, you know what I mean? But either way, man, appreciate you doing the analysis. It's a great one. I'm out of here. Peace.